All right, while you were away, I went ahead and added some content. So I'm showing the index page now instead of showing the other, and I'll be modifying this page instead. Um, I'm actually just doing the CSS anyway. So we had some problems, and that was when at a certain point this thing broke and got all ugly. So what we want to do is we want to fix this so that it changes with the size of the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to use something called media queries. When we use media queries, how we do it if we're is that we, and you might have heard this expression before, mobile first, and that is you go ahead and design for your smallest screen size, and then you tell it how it's going to change when it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's go ahead and do that. When the screen gets small, when it's small, this 60 pixel here is what's causing our problem. So instead of being 60, I'm going to make it 30 pixels. And what else? And then the top margin was 4 pixels. And you can see I've been playing around with this. It was 4 pixels, and what we're going to do is we're going to change it to 16 pixels. Because if we shrink it from 60 to 30, then we have to push it down so it stays in the middle. So that's two things. The other thing I'm going to do is I'll leave that color there, and then what else do we have to do? Section. Okay, so that's just that one problem. The other problem was disappearing section. So section is 75%, and then at a certain point that disappears too. So we're going to go ahead and bring it down to 50% instead. Everything else will stay the same. And let's see what we've done. So we'll do File and Save. And then I'll come back to my page, and I'll go ahead and refresh it. All right, and you can see that, well, this looks ugly on a big screen, but if we drag it and make it smaller, so it has to be pretty small before it finally blows up completely. And this is like my Galaxy 10 right here. All right, so not so bad, but when we make it bigger, then we got all this extra space out here, and this is too small, and it's not pushed down enough. So what we're going to do is going to go back to our CSS page, and at the very bottom of it, we're going to go ahead and set our media queries. And the first one we're going to do is, so this is my smallest one. Then we're going to say at media screen, and then we're going to do the minimum width 768 pixels, and then we're going to put a brace at the end, and that's going to change the color so it's the way it should be, and then press enter a couple times. So what we're going to say is check the screen size and leave it like this until it hits 768, and then change some of the settings. So the settings that we want to go ahead and change is going to be the header. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And the header, actually the H1 tag is what we want to go ahead and change. So we're going to say the H1 tag, if the screen is bigger, let's make that the font size bigger. So font size, and the other one was, I forget what it is, 20 pixels, I think. So we're going to make this one 40 pixels. And then we're also going to adjust the margin. So margin top, and instead of being 4 pixels, we're going to make it 8 pixels. So we're going to double it with the double size of that, or we're going to half it with 16 pixels, and now we're going to make it 8. And then I'm also going to change the color, and I'm going to change it to aqua. Now, we're not doing this for our user. We're doing this for test purposes because it'll allow us, it's an easier way to know that something has changed on the page. And then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these extra spaces. All right, so now we're going to do File and Save. Make sure everything's okay. I'm going to come over here and make it nice and tight. So this is where we are with a really small screen, and we'll save it. Then everything stays the same. But then when I drag it out, at a certain point, when it gets a certain size, and right here. Well, now, okay, I expected this to come out a little bit farther. So what happened? So when this turned to aqua, then the margin top. Oh, we forgot to change the section. That's why. Okay, so everything worked perfect except section. All right, we also have to change that. All right, so the section width is going to be now 60%. That's what should have been gotten. That's what should have gotten bigger, and it didn't, and I was not sure why. All right, so do File and Save. So two things we have to change is the header and the section. Let's come back here, drag this in, refresh, and now when it turns aqua, you can see we have this extra area out here, and then when it hits aqua, now it's bigger. And then as we move out, now it gets ridiculously large again. So then we'll have a third size. So let's go and bring this back. And let's go ahead and change it to our next media size. So this brace here is closed by this brace here. So we have to go into a new brace. And then we're going to say at media screen and min width, and we'll make this 1024, and then we'll add the braces. Once I add the braces, then the color turns nice. Okay, so on this one we're going to be using these, we're going to change these same qualities. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste it in. And then I'm going to change these still. So the pixel size on the bigger one is going to be 60. So it's going to be much bigger. I don't need as much margin, so we'll make this 4. And then for this one here, we'll make this about 75. I think that works. Okay, then I'll do File and Save. I'll come down to my picture and I will refresh. So it's white, and it turns to aqua. This turns bigger. My margin changes, and so this out here doesn't change a little bit. Then I'll all of a sudden turn. Oh, okay. Let's try this again. All right, so I made a mistake. All right, so I changed this from aqua. What did it start at? Okay, so heading 1 is white. Aqua, so let's change this to yellow. And again, this is just for test purposes. We'll keep it the same color, but it's easier for us to see when things are supposed to change, and that's a good way of debugging if things don't work out right. All right, so I'll go back here and refresh, and then we'll try it again. So it starts out white. When it turns aqua, this box turns bigger, allowing the text to expand out. And then at a certain point, it will turn white, yellow. There it is. There we go. So at this point now it turns yellow, so now it's big, and as big as we want to go with this, all the text should look pretty good. All right, so that's it for this one.